Welcome to 100 Seconds of Food News. My name is Bert Popping. I'm with FOCOS, Food Consulting Strategically.
And I'm Cesare Varallo from foodrelated.com, reporting for you from Turin.
It was in September last year that we asked if we need to add laboratory fraud to the already existing food fraud categories. The article we published was triggered by the investigation of the Brazilian food authorities into BRF, one of the largest food companies globally, producing more than 4 million tons of food each year. The authorities suspected that third-party laboratories were deleting poor hygiene results. An investigation codenamed Carne Franca was started. Meanwhile, the European Commission suspended 20 chicken production sites from exporting chicken meat to Europe. 12 of the 20 sites are owned by BRF. In Europe, the scandal was referred to as rotten meat scandal. MAPA, the Brazilian competent authority for food and agriculture, stated after the first phase of its investigation, the companies investigated defrauded inspection by preparing samples through the investigated laboratories that aimed to hide the sanitary conditions. Or in other words, MAPA stated that laboratories colluded with BRF to cover up poor hygiene conditions, presenting food safety risks to consumers. In February this year, Reuters reported that 3 laboratories, in conjunction with the rotten meat scandal, lost their ISO 17025 accreditation. This month, several news outlets reported that the 3 laboratories had been banned from food inspections. This case taught us that adding laboratory fraud as another category is a necessity, and we will keep an eye out for further incidences. We are continuing with food fraud as topic, but with a different perspective. One of the more relevant and cross-sectorial innovation are the so-called non-targeted methods, which have the potential to screen for a wide range of adulterants in a single analysis. And when we think about adulteration of a commodity, there are many different compounds known that have been used for this. Let's take a look at the Decernis food fraud database. For milk, there are more than 75 adulterants known, and for chili, even more than 80. These are too many to detect using specific methods, which typically cover from 1 to 10 compounds. As a consequence, the development of non-targeted methods has proliferated. The graphic shows the almost exponential increase of these publications. After the past decade, no less than 1,400 manuscripts on non-targeted methods have been published, and yet there is no standards for these screening methods. There are no requirements for performance characteristics. And this is important since the quality and predictability of the method stands and falls with parameters like the size of the reference sample set. USP was the first standard development organization that produced a guidance document for non-targeted methods, which can be found in the current edition of the FCC, the Food Chemical Codex. More recently, AOAC International also established new multinational working groups to develop standard method performance requirements, or SMPR for short, for targeted and non-targeted methods to detect food fraud in major categories. The efforts of USP and AOAC will significantly contribute to the development of scientifically sound non-targeted methods. And now we're moving from the food fraud to food authenticity. Country of origin label is not a new invention to promote specialty products from specific regions. The European Commission introduced 3 labels in 2012 to promote products like Parmesan cheese, balsamic vinegar and champagne. 3 labels were created at the time: PDO, the product of designated origin, PGI, the product of geographic indication, and TSG, traditional speciality guaranteed. This week, the Australian government also introduced a large set of country of origin labels that left many people puzzled. Labels included packaged in Australia and made from less than 25% Australian ingredients. Questions raised were how such labeling would be enforced and if such labels would really be meaningful for consumers. Some voices considered it a first step in the right direction. Thank you for watching this week's 100 Seconds Food News. Next week we'll be reporting from AOAC Europe meeting in Oslo.